Hello and welcome to episode number 6 of My Art is My Voice podcast. I'm Rebecca Danger.
I'm Tom Ferry.
And do you want to start? Because you've been on a trip?
I just got back from a trip of visiting my daughter in Phoenix, Arizona. It was a wonderful trip. The one story I'd like to share is I actually learned a new word.
Okay.
So on the way down, we stopped at a friend's house. They have 3 young children. I don't remember how old Kira is, but of course, being the artist in the house, everybody wants to do art with Tom. And I was known by Tommy before I left. I don't know exactly where they came up with that one. It was interesting. So I was showing her how to do my cardboard castles. Okay. And as we were building, and I am limited because it's not in my studio. Right. And I'm also limited because I'm dealing with children. So I like to use a hot glue gun. We decided that was not going to be an option.
What ages are they?
7, 5, and 3.
Yeah. I had bad experience with a hot glue gun at that age. So
as I was trying to explain to them why we couldn't undertake a certain detail, Kira said, "It's Trifficult." And I'm like, "Trifficult? What is Trifficult?" And she says, "It is tricky and it's difficult."
Trifficult. I like that.
And I think that's actually a wonderful word for art. It's Trifficult.
Yeah, it is.
It's tricky and it's difficult.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like words.
Yeah.
Words and
Yeah, she had a whole bunch more, but I can't remember any of them.
Yeah.
But that is the one that stuck out in my mind.
That's fun. So did you get a castle made?
Yeah, we did.
Use,
we did a little something. She spent more time drawing me a plan of what my castle that I need to build is going to look like. So
asking
for
what she wants.
I somehow got a commission, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Paid with hugs. Yeah,
paid with hugs.
Kind of commission. Yeah, that's funny. I do, not my kids, but some kids I know find out you could make something and they're like, "Oh, and this is what I want, and this, and I would like it like this." And yeah, that's funny.
No, I've got dimensions and everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it's
impressive.
Pretty intense.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I'm glad to be back home. I got the lawn mowed and started doing some gardening and stuff. So
was this the first mow of the season, or did you have to mow
it's been the second. I mowed before I left.
Okay.
But that, of course, I think engaged it.
Yeah. It seems like everything's growing pretty crazy. So I was out. I went and cleaned up. We have the green stalk, the vertical planter, and it's got all strawberries in it. And I didn't clean it up at the end of the season last year. I'm sure I should have, but I'm not very good at gardening. So I was out cleaning it up yesterday, and I found a bird's nest in it. There was a whole nest in there. So that was
awesome.
Interesting.
I also found a bird nest in my new greenhouse.
You went on vacation,
so now
and the
door
birds
is kind of permanently left open.
Okay. Had they laid in there?
Eggs in
okay,
there.
there was nothing in this one, so we just.
So I haven't decided whether they abandoned it or not, but it's definitely, if I can help them, I will.
That's funny. So I've been working on my YouTube video this week, and I've been giving the bird report every morning because we have a black-eyed junco. Do you know what those are? So we noticed them on the pergola on Sunday, and Presley was like, "Look, there's a bird staring at us," right? And I was like, "That's weird." So I named him Starence because he's just on the pergola, looking in the house. And he was there 20 minutes just looking into the house. And we're like, okay. So he kept showing up all week. I've named him Starence. It's probably not a he, but this is what my thinking is. And he ended up, he'd land on the patio light string, and then he would jump onto one of the hummingbird feeders on the window. Funny. And then he starts pecking on the window, multiple times, multiple times trying to come in. So for movie night, we watched the birds on Friday, which was really, really fun. So it was interesting because, Maverick is just turned 12. Presley will be 15 next week, next Sunday. And it's so different style-wise than what we see now. But they really enjoyed it. And they really enjoyed the campy hokiness of it. And we're like, oh no, she's got ketchup on her. And there's the one at the birthday party where the little girl's laying on the ground, this bird's on her, and her little, it looks like animatronic legs are going. Yeah, it's interesting how different movies are. Not that, because that was 1963, so 63 years old, and it's changed so much. So that was fun.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
good to show the use, the old timey movies, right?
Right. Yeah, I was trying to get my daughter to watch Bad News Bears.
Okay.
Because I thought that was like the prime of my generation's time.
That's really funny. I saw an artist just yesterday. I was on Pinterest, and she had a little stuffed bear kit, and you would like stitch the bear, and she called it a good news bear, and it had little hands to hold your good news on it. So that's funny.
That is wonderful.
That's what came up.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you haven't had too much time for creating?
Yeah, actually I have. Of course, 10 days without the studio.
Yeah, how was that?
It was a drain.
Okay. That would be hard for me.
I had at least 2 days where I wanted to be in the studio so bad. I jumped back into it yesterday a little bit. I was into it pretty big this morning before I got here.
Okay.
I'm definitely working on a project. I'm not ready to share yet, but I'm trying to find, I think as all of us artists are, I'm trying to find that play between being able to express myself in however I want and having somewhat of that product that will sell.
Yeah.
And that product that will sell has to take a little time. It has to just be quicker. It has to be more efficient in a lot of ways. I can't completely 100% dive in and start journaling into that type of a project. Right. It's not going to be the same. So I've got some ideas and I'm excited about it. I think it's starting to prosper. I don't know. I think it's interesting to think about simpler projects for myself in that I naturally want to make them more complex.
That guy on Instagram that I was just showing you, one of the reels, he was talking about how as creatives, sometimes when it comes easily to you, it doesn't feel like it's worth anything. Like it feels like you have to struggle to make something that sells or whatever it is. Right. And I think that's interesting because so while you were gone, I did my first YouTube tutorial on coasters. Okay. And so I did little improv coasters. I had these two that I'd made for the house and then they ended up back over here. So there's none in there. And I was like, well, I want to make these, and I have all my camera stuff out now because we're doing this and I'm doing my YouTube. And so I just basically talked through what I was doing with the coaster, and it felt very easy because it's just, it ended up really long. It's like 55 minutes and I'm just rambling about creating and sewing. And, it was funny. Mr. Danger and I were editing it and, I'm like, I should put a different foot on, but I'm living on the wild side. And, it's just a bunch of nonsense, but
that's the way it is.
So easy. And stories, right? I think we tell ourselves a story of you have to work hard to make money, or you have to, whatever. It has to be difficult to make it worthwhile for somebody else. But I don't know. Do you want to go into that more?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think it's all story.
Yeah.
Everything we're doing is story. I think the thing that I'm like in this particular simpler project, I'm realizing like the key component that is going to make it or break it is going to be form. Okay. So the form has to be.
This is interesting.
Yeah. It's
Sounds
going to be
intriguing.
super interesting.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have it for next go around. But I'm just exploring what I feel are deeper roots within myself. Okay. And trying to figure out how to add monetarily to that. Right. So, I'm excited about it. One thing that this morning that happened to me, and I will share that I'm working with clays. Okay. So I've got some water clays, I've got some oil clays that I'm playing with different techniques. And what I realized is that it's interesting that with clay, you're either adding or removing all the time, or sometimes pushing and pulling around. But I think the push and pull around happens on both sides of the add or subtract. But what's interesting to me is I've realized that my brain either has to be in one or the other. I don't seem to be able to work in subtraction and addition at the same time very effectively. Oh, that's interesting. Because I'm thinking about it because I've worked in some clays too. These are not kiln fire? One of them is. One is, okay. Yes. So I've worked with some, and you're right, because I look at it and you're either adding or subtracting. So
do you like get to a point where you subtract, and then start adding back in? So
I think that's what I do.
So it's like in the same project, but it's like you remove to the point where you're like, oh, too far, and you have to start.
And then I come back.
Interesting.
And then I work the other way.
Okay.
But it is interesting that there is definitely a switch in my mind that I have to switch into looking at the form differently. And I think it's because in the subtraction, we're trying to see what's in the positive space, and with the addition, we're negative space, or vice versa.
It's a little different in the 3D, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that's one thing I've realized when doing my art is that I think in 3D all the time. So I struggle like paper and pencil. I definitely struggle with more so than clays or molding something.
It's interesting because I've been painting the last couple years, and the 2D has definitely always been much more of a challenge for me than even. I mean, a quilt is 2D sort of, but it's not at the same time, because you have the drape of it and how it, even folding it, it's not 2D, right? And then like the knitting stuff, and then I've done some sculpting, and I do feel like I work in 3D a lot easier than that flat.
Right.
You have to put a lot more effort in for me to make it more dynamic and interesting in a 2D form.
Right.
So, but even your paintings, I'm like looking behind you, and
3D.
it's still 3D.
Right.
So, yeah, that's interesting.
So, but it's interesting, like on the paintings, I work in an addition method.
Okay, because you have a flat surface.
I'm adding modeling paste.
You can't really subtract from that as much?
You can to some degree with certain tools, but it's not the same level of subtraction.
As an actual...
Like taking a blob of clay and then just taking a cutting tool and cutting in where you want.
Yeah.
Or you do the addition where you're making the shapes and then adding them all together. But those don't always come out as crisp as I think subtraction does.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because like I've taught knitting for years, and I think one of the big things that sets my stuffed knitted creatures apart from others is how I stuff them. And so people want lessons on it, and it feels so easy. I don't even have the language you're saying for it. I look at it and I add it until 3D it looks, they all have like little pot bellies, right? And so then in classes and workshops, I'll be like, keep going. And then if it looks too much, then you can take some out. But I would never use the words addition and subtraction, even though that's totally what it is.
That's totally what it is.
It's interesting how, but that's one of those things then that would make me feel like less of an artist, because I don't have the right terminology for it, right?
Yeah, and it definitely, it goes into what we're talking about. It's just a story in my head. It's a story,
yeah. Right, I know what I want it to look like, regardless of what words I use.
Right, and I realized, in the forming of clay, the uniqueness that comes across from each artist is in our own hands.
That's that quote that is just in my head so strong, that my hand is always imperfect, and that is where the beauty is.
Right.
I've been doing hand stitching too, and I did needle turn applique, which I don't know how much you know, but basically you take a shape with a raw edge and you essentially use the sewing needle to turn the edge under.
Oh, yeah.
So I did a bunch of circles, and then I started doing things with the square with the circle on it, the patch with the circle on it, and it's turning into these trees and stars and moons, and it's very similar to where my painting has gone. And now I can't remember why I'm telling you that, but it's that hand. It's
the uniqueness of each stitch.
It comes out so. That's what I was trying to say. It's so strong in the hand stitching. I think it's also strong in sculpture, but it's so noticeable in the hand stitching. So
absolutely, yeah. And I just kept pushing it, and looking at my thumbprints, my fingerprints. Pretty soon you realize which finger to use for what. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I do enjoy clay. I switched over to the wax this morning, the oil-based, because of the fact of it's easier to subtract and add from. So I could come up with the initial shapes and just stick it together and I'm just trying to get the form figured out, and then I will decide if I'm going to make a mold or if I'm going to hand do each one.
Okay, you're talking, I think I have some wheels turning about what you might be working on. So yeah, interesting. I really enjoy the clay stuff too. we got here, and there's that 220 outlet that I think it was from her electric car, but the last owner. But I'm like, I could put a kiln in, but then I know with traditional clays how much you have to be really careful about the dust and stuff. So I haven't ventured there yet.
And mine had been sitting for 6 months, so I had to start rehydrating it. And that doesn't go quick.
No, so. I'm sure it doesn't. Yeah, well, and you've only been home a couple days.
I know, I've only been home a couple days, but I had all this built-in creativity ready to scream out.
Did you take, I know you have your little travel art set. Did you take
I took something. You? I did a little bit here and there. It's interesting for me going out and doing art. As much as I love the idea of doing it in nature and just having fun, I have to have an idea. And then I have to have stuff like my glue gun or this or that. And
so the slow stitch movement I love. And I love all of they use a lot of recycled materials in it. And I went to our friend's Cauldrons of Color natural dye workshop.
Okay.
And I love the ideas of that. And I love the idea of going to a thrift store and finding a little tablecloth and turning it into all the colors. And then I'm like, but I don't like thrift stores and I don't really like leaving the house. And I think it's really easy to see somebody else's passion in something where you maybe see somebody else working in the woods and be like, yeah, that looks amazing. But then it's kind of that, what works for you?
Right, what works
I think this would work into, like we wanted to talk about feeling so out of place at like an opening at a gallery. I think one of the things I was thinking about, since you were gone a little bit of extra time, was I know we keep saying art's not about the money. And I certainly think they're two different things, art for money versus art for art. And I certainly, I'm like, well, I'm not supporting myself full-time on art right now, but I have multiple times supported the household full-time on art. Like it is possible. I know it's possible, but I think it's that I'm at a place in my life where I'm trying to figure out what the art means for me and who I am, genuinely who I am and how I want to show up in it. And so like for me, going to a gallery opening is so uncomfortable and awkward. And, I worked the Blaine Gallery this week and I got a check from them and I'm selling work there. It's not like I'm not selling work in galleries and I'm not selling my art. I am doing that. But I'm so standoffish about pushing to be in more galleries because that opening and that small talk there is so uncomfortable for me. Yeah,
no, I agree. It's totally uncomfortable for me too.
So then it sounds like drawing in the woods, you think you want to do that.
Right, I think I want to do it, but it's not. And when I was out in the woods, I spent more time picking up rocks and feeling textures and everything that I enjoy, that I can take those memories home and trying to reproduce some of them. Man, I did bring some rocks home. But yeah, when it comes to gallery opening, it's definitely, gallery opening nights in particular are definitely like this massive roller coaster ride for me the whole time. Because we have this intermix of potential customers and artists and people that have always wanted to do art but have never been able to show up for themselves. I always seem to fall into that trap of listening to the guy who's always wanted to do art but has never done it.
Yeah.
And we get like 15 minutes into a hijack conversation before I realize that's what the conversation was about.
Right. You're like, I'm connecting, I'm making a sale.
I'm making a sale. So that's what I mean by the roller coaster. Like to most of us artists, that sale is a big deal.
It is.
And in particular, in opening gallery night, that's why we are there.
Well, I talked to one of the ladies, so the local Blaine Gallery is all textile art right now. And there's a bunch of quilts and art quilts. It's wonderful. It's been really fun to be there. And I was working my morning shift and one of the other artists was coming in the afternoon and she does beautiful work. And she and I were talking and I hadn't met her before. So we're, just getting to, but we have a common interest. So it was easy to talk to her. And she was saying, 5 years ago, I never would have called myself an artist. But then somebody bought one of my pieces, and so now I'm an artist. And it was like, that is so interesting that's
Right, that's what all of us believe makes us an artist now, whether we're successful in money.
Right. Well, I was thinking about it even, shower thoughts. We always joke in our house about, you have the bathroom thoughts and you come out with your bathroom philosophy, you're like, or a bathroom philosopher. I was thinking about how you walk down the street, you meet somebody new, shake their hand. Hi, I'm an artist. And I think everybody probably has their own unique idea of what that is, but I think there's a very common held, there's a certain thought of what an artist is. And you're a little bit weird and you're selling $20,000 paintings and you're
a rebel.
Right. Or you're Jackson Pollock or you're, what's the soup can one? Andy Warhol.
Yep.
I think that's the commonly held
belief.
That's what an artist is. And I don't know how, I think that's where we have to find what our own place within the art world is, right? Because I definitely think for me, selling your work is a big deal and it feels great. There's no denying it.
Right.
But it's about so much more than that for me.
Oh, absolutely. It's about way much more than that. I think what I would like it to be, and what I choose to believe it is, and I think societal puts pressures on us that it's difficult to go where I'm going to go. But I had an opening night of a solo show in which an elderly couple were standing in front of one of my paintings called Lost or Found. And it's a teddy bear and with a tag on it that says childhood dreams. So the whole concept and idea was when we talk about our childhood dreams, are they lost or can we find them? I believe they can all be found. And this particular gentleman had a tear in his eye and proceeded to talk about how, he retired at the age of 65. He had full intentions of becoming a painter. He had always wanted to paint. He bought the canvas, he bought the paint, he bought everything. And here he is, 72 years old, looking at my painting and has still not opened the paint. And that wasn't a hijacked conversation because that's the way it was presented to me.
Right.
And in that moment, I knew that I had already won.
Right.
It had resonated with him that I would love to believe he did go home and he opened the paint.
Right.
Right. So I think for us artists and a lot of us in society in general, I think it is about being conscious of twisting that story to allow ourselves to see how worthwhile we are to the community.
In some ways too, I wonder if it's that same, I know that I'm not going to chase gallery openings because that's not my thing. I wonder how much of that gentleman, I wonder if he were to think about it, the appreciation of other people's work is just as important
his own absolutely
making,
100%.
Yeah. I do think that creativity and art is so much about connection with other people. I think I'm loving doing the podcast instead of, and my YouTube instead of standing behind the table and trying to sell my art. But I was thinking the other day, well, I show up there with my art or my craft or whatever on the table, because that's a whole nother conversation, on the table almost so that I can talk about it. It's almost like that's more important, to my heart than the actual sale of it. The sale's like an added bonus on top of it. So it's interesting kind of taking that component out of it and being able to just have these conversations.
Right, and just say this is a win. And also in that show, I did not sell anything. Right. So.
Right, which is.
How do you want to view it? I mean, that's what it is. How do you want to view it? I do know that it made an impact on me. That communication with that gentleman. So if that has an impact on me, that means my art had an impact on him, and I think that's why we're doing art. Right. At least for myself, I'm doing art to impact myself in a positive way, and hopefully that resonates with the rest of the world.
Right. Trying to make the world a little bit better, a little bit more happier, beautiful place,
a little bit more joyful.
Right. A little bit more whimsy in there.
A little bit more whimsy.
Well, I think it's that success discussion too.
Yeah,
that's like the last couple weeks. So you weren't here, so you missed it. But we got some of those AG1 greens at Costco because they were on sale. And Mr. Danger wanted to get them. And I was like, I think they're a ripoff. But I was like, fine. And so we brought them home and he had them for a couple days and he's like, I feel great. And I was like, okay, I'll give them a try. And I did feel pretty good, except then, so that was like maybe Friday, and then not that Sunday, but the next Sunday, I was like homicidal and raging and irritable. Wow. So homicidal and like threatening to hide his body in the yard and say, nobody would find you, right? And it was me. He wasn't doing anything. It was me. But I'm generally pretty even keeled. And all of a sudden it was like something is going on because I have felt just edgy since I started. Wow. What is it, like too many nutrients in the greens or something? And then I realized that they have the B vitamins, the B12 vitamins, and there's a percentage of the population that gets irritable and edgy and anxious when they take B vitamins. And I know that I'm one of them. I found that out probably a good 10 years ago. And so I've avoided them, but I didn't even look if they were on the package or not, and then so sure enough, I'm like, I bet it's bees. And it was. So doing much better now. So
awesome.
Yeah. Now I can't remember why I started that, but
I don't know. What I was thinking about when you're talking about just having issues with stuff is like my back's been bothering me for the past few days, probably from riding in the car for too many days. Anyway, it's interesting to me also, like in the studio yesterday, to realize how much physical pain slows the creativity.
Yeah.
Even when I could all I had to do is sit there and work, and all I could do was think about when was it going to be better.
Yeah. And then every move, right? You're like maybe preparing for it to be uncomfortable.
Right. But it's interesting how much mind space that uses up, maintaining that calmness. That does affect my creativity big time.
Getting back on the sewing machine versus kind of, with painting, you can kind of move around a little bit more. Getting back on the sewing machine, it's definitely, and then the foot out on the pedal.
Yep.
I have a pinch in my hip and I've had it for years, probably because I put thousands of hours into sewing, and it definitely, the first couple weeks in, it was really uncomfortable and I was noticing it. I've put a different cushion in my chair and I've kind of figured it out, but yeah, it was like, oh, here we go again with the foot, and I wanted to get it done, but yeah, it's definitely, I think that's, that's part of where I hate for anyone who has, because like my mom had mobility issues, and I know that's, the hidden disabilities and like the, I had a teacher with chronic fatigue, and, I hate for anybody who's in that position, who's feeling creative and could benefit from the healing that I find in creativity, to feel like they can't be a real artist unless they're selling,
Right.
Like, I just think, like the coasters, I was making them for myself, and I was like, well, I'll just do a video with it.
Yeah, so, I think that's the sad thing is most people that I've known throughout my life, when they do engage with whatever creativity they have, whether it's making coasters, I think is a wonderful example, they give it away.
Right. Well, I don't have any coasters.
They just keep giving it away.
Right.
Which is interesting because I do that. I have done that myself in the past. I'm far less likely to do that in the future. And the reason I say it is because I want to give everything away to everybody. So now I kind of have to mentally stop myself and be like, no, we don't need to do that. Like,
yeah, you're reminding me of what I was talking about.
Okay.
I've been trying to just flow with things and not have rules. Because you're right, sometimes I feel like giving everything away, and I think that's okay. And then sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like, no, this really needs to be charged, or I don't want to part with it unless a certain number, a dollar value hits it. So
and for myself, it was people pleasing most of the time.
Yeah.
So trying to fit in the crowd.
So maybe that's what it is you're identifying.
It is totally what I'm identifying, and it's very uncomfortable not to do it.
Well, it's
That's
all
I
the
can say.
stories,
It's like,
right? Like,
right. It's just awkwardness.
It
And I sit there in it, and finally I'm like, you're the only person who's aware of this.
Right. And it's like so much.
Right. I'm
like,
having a
upset.
total panic attack,
right.
anxiety.
Right.
I don't want to say goodbye without giving them something. Well, what are we doing?
Right. I was thinking in my shower philosophizing, that Wookie Foot guy band that you sent me, and he's got that Shoulds song, and I was thinking about how that's those stories, an artist should look a certain way,
Right.
and you should make enough money from your art to pay your bills, or you're not a real artist, and you should give stuff away, or you shouldn't give stuff away.
Right.
And I've just been trying to like that flow state that we can feel in art, that I think a lot of us at least, are always hoping for, striving for, reaching for, like trying to find that in your daily life too, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's difficult.
It's really difficult.
Right.
I do feel like, especially with the dawn of the internet and everyone's opinions being equally platformed and everyone saying everything, it's harder to cut through the noise, and like,
absolutely,
there's so much judgment on everything with the shoulds, and being able to be like, no, I'm not an opening night gallery artist, and I'm not a sketch in the woods artist, and I'm not good at going to thrift stores.
Right.
I think accepting those things about yourself too.
Yeah, I think that's this is an interesting conversation, because I definitely think that I'm experiencing I am very well aware of what I am not, and I'm not so well aware of what I am.
Yes. That was that same guy was saying we all have some beautiful light to shine in this world, and when it feels easy, you feel like it's not worth anything.
Right.
And I know self-worth is such a huge struggle for me, and I think it's interesting then being because I've been in the craft world, which I feel like, oh, my crafty friend, it's more accepted maybe.
Right.
But then tipping into the fine art world that's so judgmental, and it's all about, is your art good enough?
Right.
And at least in my experience, and do you have an art degree? Do you have a master's degree in art? Like, are you an art historian?
Do you have a real studio?
Do you have a real studio? Right. Well, Mr. Danger and I were talking about, because I've got quite a studio at this point, and I've worked I started sewing at 8 years old, and I'm 42, and I've run some kind of creative business starting at 16. I've always been I've worked to get here too, and I've had things happen in my life that have helped me get here. But the tutorial video is on a wonderful 1960s teak dining table that I found on Craigslist, and it's got a little cutting mat and a little ironing mat and the sewing machine, and I think that doesn't make you any less of an artist being just on your kitchen table.
No,
like, your studio doesn't make the artist.
No.
It's wonderful if you're able to have it, but creativity, you're not a real artist because where's your studio, or is it in the right neighborhood, or
Yeah, I think a real artist is the artist that shows up.
Yes.
It's like this simple project I have going on, right? That I've realized it's all about the form. But I also realize it's going to take 12 to 20 go-throughs before I hit what I want. Yeah. Before I finally visualize the form and go, okay, here's where I'm going.
Well,
so that's not just an hour or two.
It's
I put in about 10 hours yesterday, and I put in 4 hours this morning. And I'm still not, I don't even think I'm halfway there.
And the reality is, you've put in a lifetime of work to get there.
Yeah, I'm putting in a lifetime of work just to get to this idea, to be able to have the gifts that I could actually execute this concept and this idea. And at the same time, it bugs me that I have to go through all these steps to get there. So then I think about that in myself, and I'm like, oh, I can just imagine if you don't have all the skills I have. How do you step into that?
Right. One of the big things I've been thinking about, because I've lost my mom recently and I've hit my 40s, and it's definitely, I'm not a young person. I'm hitting that middle age, and like the appliances got delivered, and that was like the highlight of my week. And we now have a washing machine that washes and dries.
Nice.
And it's like, I mean, mind blown, right? Like if I was 22, I'd be like disappointed in myself.
Right,
But
right.
I'm realizing that in my experience, being an artist is a journey. And I happened to hit on things that were popular in my 20s, and I was able to write a book, 6 books, 5 published. And I was able to be creative for my work. And I've continued to do that, but the skills that I have now at 42 are so much richer and deeper that, like, I realize, let's see if I can get this in words. I realize at this point, always wanting to be an artist, it takes years. It takes years of practice. And yes, you can have success along the way, but I think about some of our friends that are in their 70s and have just lived, the one gentleman who's just lived a very incredibly rich, creative life with all kinds of creativity. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Right. Who's so interesting in his work because there's just layers upon layers of creativity in there, right?
And skills and experiences. And stories.
Yeah, and stories. Well, it was funny because I had filmed my tutorial, and I think Mr. Danger was in editing something probably, and I came in and I was like, well, that only took an hour. And then I was like, plus 40 years of experience to be able to do it, right? Like, it's so easy to look at an artist's best work and want that in your 20s and 30s and 40s. And I think there's a component in there that's the age too and your experiences. Right. Not that that's true for everyone or whatever, but it is an interesting thing for me to see at this point how much that's impacting where I'm at now.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting the comment about an artist's best work. Right. And it's interesting that what I would consider my best work 10 years ago is definitely different than what it is now.
Absolutely, for me too.
So, and I don't think I think most of the time I'm switching genres and jumping all around and exploring different ways to create art out of whatever. And I don't think a lot of those skills visibly translate in the way that I understand that they're translating.
Say more about that. That's interesting.
Meaning I don't think a collector of one of my modern paintings realizes that it was the years of engraving and understanding how highlights and shadows work that is generated through my paintings.
Yes. Okay.
It's just not physically there. It's more of a story that's in my head, but it's very present in my head.
It's like also skills. Like a knowledge in your hands.
That's what I mean.
Too,
it's like this invisible magic.
Yep. There's a Taoist quote, I believe, that, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's something about how the skilled craftsman's like hands move on their own, and the maker's not even really in control of it because it's just been done so many times. It just knows where the shaping is, and it knows, right?
So more on to that. So interestingly, when we stayed at the hotel one night, I watched a Nova series about how the mind works. Okay. I don't know if that was the name of it. I got in the middle of it, whatever. So talking about flow. So this is something that I think we're just now beginning to understand, but I think is totally interesting to me. So they had a freestyle rapper go into an MRI machine. Okay. And during the first MRI scan, they had him rap a memorized song. Gotcha. So something that was written years before that he just sat there and sang, and the brain lit up, and it pretty much did exactly what they expected it to do. 15 minutes later, they have him do a completely freestyle song based on a prompt that they give him. Okay. Within 5 seconds, the prefrontal cortex shuts down and never lit back up.
Because it's all processing instead, right?
Well, the prefrontal cortex is what's in control of everything. Right. And telling everything what to do. And in that freestyle flow state moment,
it's not
it
controlled.
goes dead.
Yeah. It's all the background thinking instead of the processing.
Right. So it either is eliminating a control step in the mind. I find it interesting because if I had to explain my flow state, I would explain it as, yes, something is shutting off.
Yeah.
And that there's no more voices, there's no more thought. It just happens.
Yeah. That's the coasters, like, not to keep going back to those, but that's what I just did. They're improv, right? So I have a giant basket. I actually have like 5 or 6 giant baskets of scraps, but I'm in the pink ones right now.
Right.
So, because they're most are in there, right? And so I dig through and I find what I have, and I have a kind of general process of how it goes down, kind of a log cabin block you build on itself. That's kind of what I base it on for these. But I find pieces and then I test them. I was saying they're candidates and you're testing them. And I was really nervous starting to do the video because I hadn't done anything like that before. And you can definitely hear through the video, or I can hear, Mr. Danger can hear, you could probably hear it, that I'm more tense at the beginning, but then it's like as soon as I get in it and I'm trying the colors and I'm trying the shapes and I'm looking for sizes, but not really, like I start humming and singing and like making weird sounds, and it's definitely what you're saying.
Right.
That control has stopped, and it's in the play, isn't it? That's what it is. I put my play talisman in my pocket today.
Right.
So
yeah, it's in the play. I mean, we should find play whenever we can. I don't think we live in a society that that benefits that. I don't think society
encourages
it. That's the right word. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why artists are weird. That's why they're who we are, and we just need to be who we are. The best work is going to be created from that play space. I do truly believe that play space is severely important to myself, and I think it is important to others.
I know there's tons of research and studies that say how important play is. So, and we encourage kids.
Right.
Until you're 18, and it's like, nope, now you got to get a real job.
You want to experience real art, spend it with 3 kids like I did.
Yeah. Well, not my kids.
I mean, I was cutting out mushrooms. Right. I was gluing rocks. I was doing a multitude of things, and there was no boundaries as far as they were concerned. Everything was open, and everything was possible in that moment. And I don't. I think as an adult, it's even with this clay. Even after 14 hours working, I'm still doubting whether I can pull this off or not.
Yes.
But I also realize it's just clay. It doesn't get thrown away. Like, there's no waste here. I just put more back on if I take too much off, right?
In the video Mess Up, I was more focused on how 3 pieces looked together than how it interacted with the upper part. And I put on a piece of fabric and I was like, I don't like this. So I cut it off.
Right.
And I just ripped the seam out, and I think I've already reused the piece that I ripped out.
Awesome.
Right? Like, yeah, but it's so easy to get in that, what do they call it? Like analysis paralysis. Yeah. Like, is this good enough? Am I good enough?
I've already wasted this much amount of time.
I'm wasting. I know we've talked about that on here.
Right. So it's all the story we're telling ourselves in our head. And I'm not saying it's easy. I think it's very difficult for myself to stay out of stories some days.
Yes, yeah.
I definitely have good days and bad days. But even on the good days, unless I'm past that middle stage, I'm always doubting what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And where I'm putting my energy, where I'm putting my time, where I'm putting my effort.
Yeah.
And part of that's also is because, like, I have a million ideas that are rolling around up here all the time, and it's just picking out which one I want to do today.
So yesterday afternoon, I'd already had a wonderfully creative day, and the kids had their screen day, so I got to just kind of do and Mr. Danger wasn't here. I just kind of did what I wanted all day. I was on my own schedule, which is unusual. And I had a wonderfully creative day. We'd gotten the tutorial posted. I was getting good feedback. I put my first me reel on Instagram, which felt huge. It was good. And I was like, I got some comments on what people would like to see for tutorials.
Cool.
And so I sat down on the couch with my phone because I had a Pinterest board that's private that had some, some ideas of stuff I'd want to do in the future. And I was like, this is a wonderful opportunity to look at this board again and see some of these ideas. So anyway, I was on my phone and I was getting so in that and this and this and this and this. And I was like, I have to put this down where I can't reach it. Cause I love that aspect. I think the planning and creativity, sometimes that's more fun than the actual execution. Right?
I mean, one thing that it's interesting in, if I share an idea before I've actually executed it, and sometimes even started it, if I just start sharing like brilliant ideas in my head, I will usually get enough dopamine from the outside world that I don't need to do it no more.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
So now I'm a little bit more careful about that. If I really, really want to do something, I generally will not share till I get to a certain point in that process.
I think that's totally reasonable. In the past, I've been more like that, and then deciding to try this online thing, I'm being a little bit more open about things that I'm doing and like showing first tries on things. And it's definitely, I made an improv house block this week, and it's cute. It's a pink house, and I grew up in a pink house, right? Yeah. And then it's got little mice in the windows, and then it kind of kept growing, and it's like 18 by 24. Like, it came out huge, and the first day I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I love this. And it was my first attempt at improv house building in fabric. And then the next day I came in and I was like, I don't like you. And then I'm like, oh great, I've already shared this online at this point, and I'm not sure where it's going. So
well, I think that's a really good question to ask ourselves, right? Is like, so is creating art, is the joy and the satisfaction in the finished project, or is it in the process and the journey to get there?
Well, we talked a little bit like in the knitting world, there's process knitters and product knitters. So I think for me, I know it's all about, I just want to spend time taking something that doesn't exist and turning it into something.
For me, it's the process, without a doubt.
Yeah. So
and the process can become more complex as I go along, but definitely when the piece is completed, I've realized that is it's a big hit of joy or dopamine, but then it goes away relatively quickly, and I need to find another process. Right. I'm almost out of handwork in the house, and I'm like, I'm going to have to find something to do on there today. It's just like when you execute that first little product and you were all excited and it's wonderful, such as your pink house, and then that night I will spend all night going, oh, I need to do 20 or 30 more of these. I need to do a whole series of this stuff. And then I get like 5 or 6 into the series, I'm like, nope, I don't need to do no more of these.
I think that's part of that like flow and just like accepting, because like yesterday I was working on the strawberries, and always the beginning of the gardening season I'm like, I'm going to be a gardener this year, and we're going to grow all of our own food, and we're going to live and then by the end of the season I have like moldy strawberries on the plants because life got in the way and I didn't get out and get them. And I was yesterday very much, it's so easy for me to say, you have work to do, you have to work, you need to be making money, you don't have time for these strawberries. And I definitely had to like, no, it's going to take 10 minutes. 10 minutes less of work today is not going to impact.
It's not going to impact the end of the world. It's not going to bankrupt
us. It's not like, it's okay to take this time. And I think that's such a more balanced approach, and balance is not an easy thing.
Yeah, it's learning to give ourselves permission.
Right. To say, I need to make 50 and then go, oh, no, 5 was enough.
Right.
Because I went from the house block and then I made like 10 little mushroom blocks.
Right.
And then I put them together and I'm like, these look terrible together. And then I kept moving them. And
I mean, usually my first concept is pretty well done. And typically my second and third is not even close to the same as the first one. And if I continue with it, I can get better than the first one. But it's usually that first one I'm dedicated to, I put the most passion into.
Yeah. And it's that newness too.
And the newness is keeping me engaged, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely hard putting my work out there that's not the perfect work, and it's feeling very exposed with that. So I think there could be some of that in like talking about a project too early too, is maybe that self-doubt really comes in and
if I do talk about it too early and the wrong person is the one I'm talking to, it can definitely throw a curve in there.
I've had to learn over the years who's good to talk to about creativity and maybe not as much.
Yeah, and that's it. That's their thing. If nothing else, if you want to support an artist, just be that safe person that artist can talk to.
Right.
Just listen to the idea. Don't tell me what I should do with the idea or what I can't do with the idea.
I think that's the reality of all humans. Like we just want to be heard and seen and listened to, and I think it's really easy to jump in. I think with kids, right? Like you should, it's again the shoulds.
It's the shoulds.
Oh, you should take that. You should make money with, like with your art, or like, it's hard to just listen. But I think that's really what most of us need. Is just that. That's great. I say to the kids all the time.
That's all I need.
The kids will say some offhanded, I found a bug in the yard and it was purple. And it's like, there's so many ways you can respond to that. There aren't purple bugs in the yard. What are you talking about? Right. Like, or did you pick it up or you didn't eat it? Did you, there's so many ways you can respond. But I'm always like, that's great. That's great. That's most of what I say in the day is, that's great. I ate my food in 2 minutes. That's great. It took me 40 minutes to, that's great. Okay. I think it's hard. I think this is the stories, and this is Byron Katie, and I know a lot of people don't like her, but I find her very helpful. And she talks about how wanting something to be different than how it is fighting with reality. Like,
it is what it is.
The sun is out today. You can be happy about it. You can be upset about it. I'm going to get a sunburn. I'm going to spend time in the sun. And it changes too. But the reality is, these things just are.
They just are.
The story we put on it that makes us happy or sad.
Exactly. And it's okay to be sad if you want to be sad.
Right. Yeah.
I think the problem for me starts lying when people are projecting all of that on me. Which,
with all of us being human beings with our own life experience.
Going to happen.
But that's where, like, if you can sit and listen to somebody and just listen and not project. Like, that's such a huge...
Well, listen to their experience of their story and what their interaction with the world is. I think if we could do more of that, this would be a far better place.
I agree. Yes, I think if everybody can show up as who they are and just listen to other people and let them be who they are, the world would be a much... my ideal version, right?
So maybe funner.
It's not everybody else's.
No, I think it would be more joyful. I think we would have more compassion, more empathy.
Don't you think so many people, in my experience and from who we know and from what I see, how people interact with each other, I just think so many people are so unsure of themselves and scared all the time. And it's a hard way to show up.
Yeah. I think most people live in fear. I think that's what our society is.
Yeah, I see that more and more and more.
Even just to interact online, you don't know who you're dealing with or what you're dealing with at this point.
That's how I was feeling about putting this tutorial out. Like, this lady rambles on about fabric and sewing machine needles and laughs at herself for 55 minutes. Sounds a little bit crazy to me, but it's what brings me joy. I love creating, and I hope somebody else could enjoy it too.
I think whether it's this conversation we're having here, it's all creating.
It is creating. I think everyone's creative.
Everyone's creating all the time. We're creating all of this, and this is all for you. This is all for me. It's all for Mr. Danger.
You're just a figment of my imagination, because you're all in my head.
And I'm like going back to the story. Like, in that reality, I'm well aware that as much as I'm somebody's hero, I'm also somebody's villain.
Yeah, I think
it just is.
I spent my 30s realizing from having difficult childhood. It wasn't. I had a wonderful childhood, but I had a lot of emotional stuff I had to work out for myself from it. And But it was that coming to realize people behave how they behave because of them and not because of you. Like Mr. Danger is 6'5". Have I said this? I feel like I'm repeating myself. But he's 6'5". And just that, he's a big guy. Just that will make some people respond to him in a certain way.
Right.
And it's nothing about him.
Right.
It's nothing about, I mean, like, you could look like a neighbor that was a jerk in the past. And so I'm immediately going to have a hard time processing that.
Throw all that on me.
Right. Or you could look like, I don't know. I said something about you guys, but yeah, I got pink hair. There we go. So crazy person with pink hair and heart glasses, right? So I think the more I've come to like embrace that and realize people are going to react how they react, like that helps.
Yep.
It doesn't make things easier.
No, it doesn't make it easier.
It's just the reality of it.
I think it makes it easier for me to just accept the fact that that's who they are.
Right.
And I have a choice. Meaning I don't have to be in their circle.
You can engage or not, too.
Right.
Yeah, that's all we get. This is, we always tell the kids, like, you don't get to decide if your brother, this was literally, they were fighting over the vacuum cleaner today on my way over here. Vacuum fighting. And apparently one of them, they're not watching this, so maybe they will with this one. But one of them was doing his chore and vacuuming, and the other one decided it would be fun to jump on and off the vacuum cords so that suddenly the vacuum wouldn't go forward or backward or whatever.
Right.
And then when he'd had done enough of that and the one was vacuum yelling at that one went upstairs and started changing the music that the other one who was vacuuming was listening to through his headphones. So, yes. Why was I telling you this? We're letting people be who they are.
And who they are.
What did I even? Oh my gosh, that's funny. I just distracted myself on that. That was pretty funny.
It is kind of funny.
But like, the one was doing it because of him. It wasn't, you know, it was.
Yeah, I think for myself, as long as I'm very aware of, like, as long as I don't want to impact anybody else in a negative way.
Right.
And that doesn't mean I can always get away with not doing that. Sometimes that has to happen.
That's what
But I definitely have realized, like, in my own joy, it doesn't need to negatively impact anybody, otherwise it's not true joy.
Right.
It's more about something going on with
controlling,
me, envy
maybe,
or ego or whatever that.
That's what I was trying to say with the vacuum. You don't get to choose if your brother is jumping up and down on the cord. You only get your reaction to him doing that.
Right.
So, you know, it became a lot of yelling.
Right.
Which then we would sit down, you know, is that the best choice for the situation? But it's choice, and it's all the response to others. I don't, you know, people will ask me how to do things, and I try and make a point to say, this is how I like to do this. But yeah, I don't need to. If you can
stay in first person.
I don't need to try and control anyone.
Right.
You know, my hope is that in showing up how I am, that might be inspiring to others. But then they have to decide, like the sketching in the woods. Like, that looks like wonderful. And like the thrift store fabric looks wonderful. And I'm inspired by it, but in reality, I'm not going to the thrift store. And you're not sketching in the woods. You're giving it a try, but yeah, I don't need to control anyone.
No, that's just where we're at.
And it's yeah, you know, I just think that leads to so much drama yourself, right? Yeah, and then people are thinking, you know, they take your situation personally. Like, if you're like, I am unhappy with this cup of tea, somehow people take that story and, you know, that's, we talked about that earlier too.
Yeah, and my interactions with people have changed, and at the moment I quit telling people what they should do with their art. And started going, well, in my experience, if that was mine, that conversation is different.
But it, like, in hearing you say that, you should do this, would put me immediately defensive.
That's what I mean. Like, those are two different conversations.
Right. And the more you set somebody on the defensive, just saying something, the more you've lost them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not about fixing anybody. And I think when artists do ask me my opinion on stuff, and I have done this a couple times with some artists, was I have invited them to ask themselves as to why my opinion mattered.
I think that's a fair point.
I don't think the outside opinion matters a lot.
No.
I think when you're trying to master techniques, when you're trying to master skills, when you're trying to learn those basics, yes. That's the only way we can, it's either trial and error or somebody teaches you. But there is a point when our art, we just have to be so comfortable in our art that we're comfortable in ourselves, and that anything from the outside is just taken with a grain of salt. It is what it is.
Right, but that's hard. Like, that's a lifetime of work together, right?
I will never hit that point.
I don't think that's true. I don't know, because you'll text me what you're working on, and you know I'm always going to be positive.
Yeah, so I think our relationship has been super beneficial to me. I would highly recommend everybody to go find, I consider you a vulnerability partner or somebody like that, right? Where you are a safe place. And we can have these conversations, and we can voice our doubts and our reluctance and self-worth issues or childhood trauma or whatever that may be. That is a different conversation than most.
But like when you text me a piece of art, I know that you're going to work on it to the point that you're happy with it.
Right.
And really, ultimately, I think that's all that really matters. I mean...
Yeah, you're one of a handful of people that I will do that to at this point.
I like to be a safe place for people because, you know, in that emotional trauma from childhood, I did do a lot of self-work, and that was getting to that point where it was like, people just want to be heard and seen.
Yeah, everybody wants to be seen.
And so, like, you don't need anything from me. I can just be there and do that. But I know that's not, a lot of people aren't like in that place. So.
No, they're not. I think a lot of people are seeking to be seen.
Which I get too, but being seen makes me very uncomfortable sometimes too, so go figure.
Well, I think that's the double edge of the sword. I think once you start being conscious of, I don't need to be seen, then you become more conscious of being seen all the time.
Right.
Which is its own set of issues.
Yeah, humans are complicated.
And I think and again, it goes back to what we're talking about. It's all a story in our head. Both sides of it. It's
so funny because from the beginning of the conversation, when you said Trifficult, I was like, being a human is really Trifficult.
It's very Trifficult. So, right. It's a wonderful word.
I love that it's really come back to that. Right. That's funny.
Yeah, I think life is very tricky and it's very difficult.
It's tricky and difficult.
I think admitting that to ourselves, it's just choose your difficult.
Well, and it is and it's not. It's a balance, right? Like, I feel like I'm getting to a place where I'm feeling much more comfortable with creativity and working and what that means and trying to show up. It's interesting, my polishness that I've always strived for years, I feel like it's falling away a little bit in my artwork, which is so interesting because that my hand is what makes it so unique. All of a sudden, like, I'm stitching these little trees and they're not perfect, and I'm stitching these stars and they're not perfect. And even just a year or two ago, that would be really difficult for me to show up in. And so I think I'm just getting more comfortable that my hands and my story and my set of bizarre gifts of crafting is important, or I wouldn't have it. So
yeah, and I think part of it for myself is there's a realization that the acceptance of those flaws, let's call them, or little hand motions, not drawing a straight line with a ruler type scenario. I think for myself, that's more forgiveness towards myself of seeing my own flaws and being okay with them.
Have I done this to you yet? The kids in kindergarten, when they agreed in something, instead of being like, oh yeah, I agree, they're supposed to do, I agree with you. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's that healing of finding acceptance in the flaws in your artwork that then relates back to your own person.
The human experience.
And accepting the flaws within yourself from that too. So. Yeah,
I mean, not doing art is hard, and doing art is hard.
Yeah.
Choose your art.
It's Trifficult.
Right.
It's very Trifficult.
Just choose your art.
Yeah. All right, are we going to stop there? I think we went over an hour this time. So, all right. So Do you want to say your...
TomFerryStudio.com, Tom Ferry Studio on Instagram, Facebook.
And I'm RebeccaDanger.com. And I'm working on that YouTube channel, and Instagram is Rebecca Danger. Oh, and I have been posting on Facebook.
Awesome.
So for the first time. And
awesome.
I think my account's been on there like 18 years, maybe.
Yeah, social networks will push for me.
It's hard for me. I'm doing better, but yeah, it's a challenge. So we'll be back next Wednesday. And you can email us at myartismyvoicepodcast@gmail.com. And thanks for listening and following along with us. We're very pleased with, a little bit surprised with how it's going. And, globally, we have a lot of international listeners. And
cool.
That's very cool for week number 6.
Yep, week number 6. Go make art.
Go make something, yeah.